millions of illegal aliens are pouring in and they're taking your jobs. The black community is being hurt more by the illegal aliens, 16, 17 million. They're taking your jobs. You're down 6-7% from where you were just 3 years ago with me. And it's going much lower because millions and millions of people are coming into your communities. It's no longer every state is a border state. You've heard that. But they're coming into your community and they're taking your job. They're affecting the African Americans and then after that, the Hispanic Americans more than any other group.
Illegal immigrants, or migrants as the liberals want to call them, are causing more harm to the black community than any other community. Not only are they taking up resources that otherwise would have been provided to the black community, they've also taken opportunities away from the black community, taking away jobs and other things that black people would otherwise qualify for, taking away educational opportunities, causing people to have to leave their schools to accommodate the housing of these illegal migrants. And that is a crime and that is a shame. But instead of doing something legitimately about it, Joe Biden is doubling down on his horrible policies. He's introducing a parole in place executive order to essentially give amnesty to illegal immigrants who are married to U.S. citizens. Now, this is offensive to me and it's personal because, as I've said before, my wife is Pakistani. She came here legally, but she has cousins. One of them I just met this past weekend who waited in Pakistan 20 years to come here legally. And there's a scam that happens in countries like Pakistan where the women are married to guys, and as soon as they get over here as a couple, the guys leave them, abandon them, and go do their thing. So this whole immigration policy, this whole immigration system is completely broken, and both sides bear the brunt of it. But Joe Biden, not only will his policy hurt black people, his policy is a slap in the face to those who actually went through the proper channels to come here legally.
President Biden is set to unveil a sweeping immigration relief program that would offer legal status to hundreds of thousands of undocumented immigrants. It's expected to be the biggest immigration program since DACA, the Obama-era program that temporarily protects undocumented immigrants who came to this country as children. That program was established in 2012, and the president is set to mark its anniversary at the White House later on today. Immigration and politics reporter Camila Montoya Galvez is here to talk a little bit more about this major new plan. Camila, what a way to, mark the anniversary, I guess, of DACA with this new policy. I think a lot of people believe that once you are married to an American citizen, you sort of get automatic citizenship. That's not the case. Tell us about this policy.
For those of you who think that Joe Biden's term is just Obama's third term, what he's doing with this executive action furthers that notion.
It is not. This will be a massive program, Anne-Marie. It is expected to benefit nearly 500,000 immigrants living in the country illegally who are married to U.S. citizens, to American citizens. And yes, on paper, those who marry American citizens, Anne-Marie, are eligible for permanent residency, otherwise known as a green card. But for those who cross into the U.S. illegally initially, they typically have to leave the country, go back to their home country like Mexico, Peru, Colombia, other countries across the world, and then come back legally to get a green card. But in that process, Anne-Marie, many of these immigrants, because they lived in the U.S. unlawfully, face a 10-year ban from the U.S. And so that leads many families not to pursue this option. This policy by the Biden administration, Anne-Marie, would allow those immigrants to adjust their status to permanent resident status here in the U.S. without having to leave the country. And it would also give them work permits and temporary protected status from deportation while they await that green card. And so this is a massive change that, again, is expected to benefit hundreds of thousands of immigrants. I should also add that the administration is also announcing another measure today that will make it easier for those DACA recipients and other dreamers to gain employment-based work visas here in the U.S. if they have graduated from U.S. colleges.
Okay, so let's first talk about this program that he's going to be announcing for the spouses. Do we have a timeline at all?
Officials told us, Anne-Marie, that they expect this program to open up by the end of summer. That is a very ambitious deadline because, of course, this program is very new. It has to be stood up, and also it could very well face legal challenges. Republican-led states, as you know, have filed lawsuits against virtually every major Biden administration policy, especially the more generous ones. And so we should expect this policy to face challenges in the federal court system, just like other Obama administration policies that were similar in scope did. The DACA policy is still under legal peril in federal court, and another attempt by the Obama administration to provide work permits to the parents of U.S. citizens and green card holders was struck down in court, actually. So this could meet the same fate.
You know what this sets up? This sets up the environment for all kind of scams and frauds to take place. You ever heard of the mail order bride and those kind of things? A lot of women can be duped. Don't you know there's so many single women here in America, and there's so many more men in the world who are looking to get to America? What kind of environment is Joe Biden setting up? Oh, this is just a Marxist, communist, liberal ideology to further alienate Native Americans this is open border policy. This is World Economic Forum policy. There are no more borders, no more countries. Just open up your country to everybody and you're no longer sovereign. That's what he's doing. This is just a power grab, actually, to get more votes.
So President Biden preparing to offer legal status to thousands of illegal immigrants as early as tomorrow. The Parole in Place program will offer work permits to illegal immigrants that are married to U.S. citizens, given that they've lived in the U.S. for at least 10 years. As many as 1.1 million could be eligible for the initiative. Fox and Friends weekend co-host Rachel Campos Duffy joins us, and I'm sure she has some thoughts on this. Parole in place? I mean, I just don't understand how this could not be amnesty and incentive to continue to cross the border. Rachel.
Of course it is. You know, the Democrats create this illegal immigration problem, and then they come up with solutions that just happen to benefit them, or they think are designed to benefit them electorally. This should not be an executive order. This should be, done as a law so that the people have a voice in this, and it's not up to a very desperate, power-hungry president. And that's the situation we're in. The irony, of course, Lawrence, is that mass deportation, that policy idea, is more popular than ever. Among registered voters, it's over 60%. But get this, among Hispanics, the numbers are 53 to 47. So a majority of Hispanics now are favoring mass deportation. And the reason is very simple.
So all this is another way to try to get votes because Joe Biden is desperate. He's losing his grip on the black community. The Democrats recognize that they're losing the black vote. They're losing the Hispanic vote. So what do? They go out and they try to institute a policy to circumvent the legal immigration process to try to buy more votes. This is an insult. And the simple fact that people that waited their turn to come here legally are being usurped in the process is disgusting. It is infuriating because these people spent years waiting to come to America. But you got people that have crossed the border illegally moving to the front of the line. It continues the tired old pattern of Democrats and liberals and the Marxists and the progressives wanting to make Americans victims. We're not victims. We are empowered for greatness.